Happy, what's it, Wednesday already?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Doing?
What's
Wednesday.
up? What's up?
What's
Oh,
going on, everybody?
we have a lot in store for you guys. And I have to say, what everything we're talking about today, I expected to talk about next month around this week, right?
hmm
But we're seeing things happening a lot faster. And I don't know if this is the new norm or if it's the whole global shortage of this and whatever. But for sure, is it me or are the brands moving a lot earlier than we
Oh
expected?
yeah,
What do you
Yeah,
guys?
they're moving
it's
fast, man.
hmm
They're
it
moving
started.
fast, right? It's not me, right? Hey,
Yeah,
David.
I think last year it started a little bit earlier too, with
I
the
feel like I
pandemic and
feel like
stuff.
this year is even going earlier than last year. It's like now they got to
Yeah,
get another a week earlier, 2 weeks earlier, or something, man. It's getting
yeah.
Yep.
crazy.
Their
So
reasoning is they want to spread it apart, so it's not too much chaos on like not only the shipping but like people going to the actual stores. They don't
yeah.
want people crowding into stores, so
Oh, I didn't think
that
about
makes
that. That's a
sense, right?
good point. Or is it possible that the best, really the big two, Best Buy and Amazon in the USA, right? If I
Yeah,
was either one, Best Buy or Amazon or Crutchfield, right? Let's throw them in there.
right.
How do you approach Black Friday? Because a lot of these discounts are from the actual brands themselves. Sony, right? Unless Sony
Yeah,
says,
exactly.
"Hey, drop your prices," I can't because there's no margin in there for me, right?
hmm
Then it's beyond just the actual retailers because all the retailers match it like
Yeah.
literally within hours. So I'm wondering what's driving the brands themselves to get it early because or is a retailer saying, guys, we got to capture them now. So I think we could talk about that's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
today's topic: latest deals, streaming issues.
hmm
Someone's very unhappy with his streaming experience. Maybe all of us are. Are you guys unhappy
Hey,
about
man.
your streaming issues? Because when you buy a TV, more often than not, this is your content. I am a big Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus. Between those three, I really don't have time for Blu-ray discs. This is my world today. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you guys are doing there. And then Sony X95J. So I know you've seen it, you've reviewed it. I finally got it, and I've been watching it for the last few days, and I have my opinions on it and where it stands in the list of things. KG, have you had a chance to look at the X95J?
I haven't. No,
Oh,
no, I
oh,
still haven't been
no
able to
worries,
see it.
man. You have the
Yeah.
Q90A.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
but
I don't have the Q90A, no.
what's your
Yeah.
favorite TV right now? What is your reference TV?
Oh, so the TVs that I have in my house right now are the LG C1, and I also have the TCL 6 series in my house, and I have the Q90T. So those are the three, and I also have a Vizio downstairs, but like we don't really talk about that because it
Well,
barely turns on. But
since you have the LG
um,
C1, it takes
mhm,
us to our latest deals.
yeah,
The 85-inch QN900A is now $5,500. And the 83-inch LG C1 is also $5,500.
mhm,
The LG C1 is not really on sale. That's what it should cost because it's in such demand, so they're not really lowering the price. But the 85-inch QN900A has dropped significantly, right?
mhm,
And we know what it brings to the table. It's super bright. Wow, great resolution, but that's not a big deal. It's really it pops. HDR is great. As a matter of fact, it's so good. And speaking to classy, keep it classy tech. If it wasn't for the gaming features, he would probably choose the 85-inch Q900A. Just talking HDR quality because it's that good. So this is
mhm,
something that people who are in this budget are now having to debate. Wow, the Q900A. So Samsung really early this year on their deals, I think. And then we have the 85-inch Q90A, 3300. That is what? $700 cheaper than the X95J at the same size, which is still 4,000. And then we have the 75-inch Sony X90J, another recent discount, 2,600. Oh no, it's not 20. It's 1,600, right?
Wait,
an
which one is the
X90J.
4 grand? X95J, you said
Yeah, X95J is 4 grand.
at
Is it?
85 inch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
That
X90J is 1599 for the
Yeah,
75-inch.
1,600. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm off by a whole thousand. But wait, that's not right. That's not even special. Okay, it's
Yeah,
special
no.
now.
That would be
And
terrible, dude.
and you guys
that's a good deal
remember
too.
when it
Damn,
first started, the
hmm
65-inch
Yeah.
launched at this price, right?
They launched way too expensive, right? Like,
Way. And this is what I've been waiting for. Now, I think the 65-inch is still too expensive. The 75-inch is where the value of the X90J is at because it's actually $200 cheaper than where the TCL 6 series, next on our list, 75-inch R646, when it does launch, whenever, who knows when that's going to be, it's supposed to be around 1800. It may actually go up depending on pricing adjustments at the end of the year. But
Hmm.
regardless, Sony X90J, this is actually pretty aggressive even for Sony. So uh, we will talk about when the X90J is appropriate because I know there's a lot of opinions on that, especially given the recent
Yeah.
testing of VRR. Let's just call VRR a complete fail by Sony at this stage. I'm not saying next year they won't fix it, but right now
Hmm.
it's not good. And then the 55-inch QN90 at 1300, that is a few hundred, several hundred cheaper than the 55-inch. Is it the OLED? Right, the OLED is like 1500
For what?
Yeah,
for the
1599.
55 inch, right? 59, 1600, so $300 cheaper. This
Oh
is
yeah.
good. This
Uh-huh.
is a good price for a
And
55-inch Q90A.
there's something to note on the 55-inch QN98. It's 12.99, right? And I believe the LGC one is going to be 12.99 as well on October 27th at Costco.
Ooh,
That's the ad that I saw.
all
Um,
right.
so that's going to probably be something that ticks along. All the
And
manufacturers are going to have it. Best Buy is going to have it. So
this is such a good point because I bet you Samsung knew that.
yeah,
And they want to get people committed because once you buy a TV, you're like, okay, I'm not going to return it for a C1. Then they won't even shop anymore. They're done.
right.
And so Samsung probably has these lists, but this
Hmm.
doesn't mean that Samsung might not, maybe $50 cheaper just to stay beneath the LG C1. And
Yeah.
of course, I think a great deal is for $700, the 646 TCL Google TV 6 Series. $700 is actually pretty compelling to me. I think it's pretty good. Okay, so before we jump in, let's get some super chats out of the way.
Okay.
Hey, TN Design. Thank you for that super chat, my friend. Looking for best picture possible. Maximum budget of $10,000. That's a great maximum budget.
Yeah, if
83
everyone
to
had,
85 inch.
jeez,
I already have a TV in
I
mind.
can do stuff with this. Yeah,
Yes.
I can make it happen. Let's figure it
Very
out.
large, very bright room, huh? Very bright room. Must support Dolby Vision and Atmos. Oh, dude, you took my number one on the list with that. Willing to
Mm.
pay more now to minimize regrets later. Okay, let's go across. I love this budget. We'll start with you, Brandon. You're just
I
antsy to
mean,
get this answer.
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I guess if he says must support Dolby Vision, I guess I'm like from your initial comments, I'm thinking like that the QN900A is finally coming down into a range where it's like I can listen to our guy Rainer, over in Germany
Yeah.
who likes that TV
He loves that
because
TV.
I mean we saw it at the shootout. The QN900A looked
Mhm.
fantastic,
It
and
did.
it seemed not to suppress some of the highlights like the 4K TV did a little bit more. And so I would have to say that I still would take the A90J 83 inch, which is $8,000. So it's in his budget. But if you're talking about a very, very bright room, there really isn't another choice besides that QN900A. If you want to go to the 4K, then you're talking about the QN90A and the X95J. And I don't know. At that size, I'd probably be leaning for the Samsung, but he wants Dolby Vision. So then it'd
There
be
you
the
go.
X95J,
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
X95J is good in a bright room, not so good in a dark room,
Now, what about the Z9J?
Yeah, I guess, is that under 10? I don't know
It
what the price of
is.
that is.
It's under
All
10.
right.
And I guarantee you, if he's looking at the Z9J,
Yeah.
if he calls Robert, Robert will give him a deal that keeps him under 10. But I think MSRP is under 10 to begin with. So we're okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's, I know, like Caleb liked that TV, right?
Caleb loved that TV.
And
That's
it's
his
in a bright
dream
room, a
TV.
regular room. Yeah, it's got to be on the list. It's got the good anti-reflective coating. So
Okay. All right. And what about you, KG? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking Z9J as well. Like, if that's in his budget range, it's probably going to be, the brightest one for him. If he's in a very bright room, that sounds like it would be ideal. And then, of course, I guess like the X95J would be the second place, because it has Dolby Vision. Other than that, like, there's nothing that I can think of. Maybe the new P series, Quantum X, but like,
Right.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really.
I wouldn't touch it. When you have 10,000
Yeah.
bucks, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Right. Yeah.
The
Like,
only
I don't know.
one that I may want him to consider, but it's not even out yet, is the OD0 by
Mm.
TCL. We know for sure it will
Yep.
support Dolby Vision, but it's not out, and it will be above 10,000. However, I expect it to drop to below 10,000 after the
Mhm.
first month because you're not going to sell that thing for 10,000, right? Or I think it's supposed to be at 10,000, something like that. So right now,
Ridiculous.
I agree with the assessment. There's not too many TVs out there. It's either going to be the Sony X95J or the Z9J. The X95J will not get as bright as the Z9J. The Z9J is, man, in a super bright room, that Z9J will do the trick. It has my full support at the 85-inch size. Is the Z9J. I'm totally into the Z9J for this. But if any of you disagree with me, let me know. If it wasn't for the Dolby Vision support, I would have chosen the Q900A as well as my
Yeah.
and with it being on sale, right, $5,500, you can get two of them for
Half the price.
$10,000.
And it performed better than the Z9J, technically.
In a dark room, it does. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But his room's not going to get dark enough to get benefit from that. So,
Yeah,
willing to pay more.
how much does Dolby Vision matter when your TV can get that bright?
That's what people are saying. It really
Yeah.
doesn't. And that's something, this is a good point. Dolby Vision is great for TVs that don't get above 1,000 nits because it will tone math correctly. But if your TV easily gets above 1,000 nits, you're not benefiting it to the degree as a lesser TV would. So that's something for a lot of people who are in this budget to consider. That don't just cross off the QN900A or Samsung flagship just because it doesn't carry Dolby Vision, because if it gets bright enough. Now, if you're looking at a Samsung Q80A, which is much dimmer, yeah, that's a no-go for me too. So
hey, before we get too far, can we just have, if everyone could, we'd really appreciate if you could hit the like button, just because it will put the video out to more people in the AV world that may be hanging out. And if you guys hit the like button, then more people can jump on and we can get more questions and answer more questions and all that. So really appreciate it if you could hook it up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for the reminder, my friend. Best Buy Sony 55-inch A90J, $2,800. LG 65-inch G1 $2,400, including a 5-year warranty. I know Sony wants to protect their Master Series, but this is ridiculous. Yeah, and that's why we don't recommend the 55-inch Sony A90J. This is exactly what all of us have been talking about, is the 65-inch G1 or the C1 for that matter, right? It is an even better deal at $1,800. I don't even think the G1 is worth, what would that be, like $600 more? Now, other than the 5-year warranty, for some people that might make a difference, okay, but you can get a couple $100 with a Best Buy extended warranty, which I believe is better than their own warranty, which is only parts. So something to think about. Might as well just get the C1 with the Geek Squad. If you're in the USA, 5-year warranty, and you'll be better off.
Yeah.
But,
we got a super chat back here. The guy left, I think. EHJ23 talking to KG here. Go Broncos. They got a game tomorrow night, huh?
Yeah.
You guys better win that. There's nobody's
Case
playing on the
Keenum
Browns.
Is playing, bro. Case
there's
Keenum
nobody. Literally,
wait. Case Keenum.
Yeah, Case Keenum.
Yeah, because Baker Mayfield's out. Both running backs are out. So if the Broncos can't win this one, then their first three wins were really sus.
They need to fire the coach if they don't win this one. Like that's how I feel.
Anyways, I hope you check the stream later. EHJ. That's like almost like a TV model number there.
Right.
Secretly, he's a TV.
And for the person we were talking about the whole Dolby Vision. This is a great perspective from D Nice, Dwayne Davis, who we've had on a couple of times. D Nice, a calibrator, is saying Sony has some out-of-the-box issues with the Dolby Vision. Maybe more worth it to go with the QN900A. So think about that, guys. Just because the TV says it has Dolby Vision, and Sony has had a history with Dolby Vision implementation, by the way. This is not the first time, so I'm not surprised, but that's interesting that D Nice is not happy with how Dolby Vision is being implemented by Sony just yet. So, and Samsung, I think, is doing fine with HDR tone mapping, by the way, so it's not a big deal. So very cool.
We have this one from Fly You Fools. Do you want me to click on that?
Yeah, here we go.
Was holding out for the 83-inch C1, but QN90A 85-inch hit 2600 yesterday. Had to get it. So
what is EDU?
I don't know. I always look those up. EDU, we'll find it.
Oh, that's that education discount. So like
discount. Okay. All right. This is the deal of the day right here.
I'll be right back.
$2,600. That is definitely amazing, guys. So at $2,600, an 85-inch Q90. If you guys have access to this, forget it doesn't do Dolby Vision. Just forget about it. The minimal improvement that Dolby Vision brings to the table does not compare to the amount of screen space you're getting and the quality, image quality. The only thing is DSC on larger screens, which applies to everyone, including Samsung. Just because it's a flagship doesn't mean that you're not going to possibly get DSC uniformity issues. So keep that in mind. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. There you go. Education employee pricing. Wait,
And
so
he had a question of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What is this question? I didn't see it.
His question was about the installation.
Yeah.
I think you might have to maybe elaborate on that. Sam, he said to be or not to be. Samsung said 120 to install. I don't know what you mean. Like install? You mean on the wall? Like, go ahead.
I bet you it's like those installation services where they call someone like you.
Oh yeah. No,
to freelancer, right? But what do you think about that?
For sure.
The 120. I mean,
I don't know what fees get. Yeah, is it just to hang it on the wall? I mean, anyone can do that for $100. Really, it's just more like, is it probably not gonna conceal the wiring or anything? So it'll be a more basic install. I don't think you should not trust them if they're going to send out. If they're going to send out
mount install, is what he's saying.
If they're going to send out an installer, they'll have to be insured. So if they damage your TV, they would have to cover it, especially if Samsung is directly sending them. So then they have to be, they have to have specific insurance requirements in order to do that. So you should trust them. I don't know if it's going to look good or not, but should be safe.
And here's some specifics about the issue that Sony's are having right now. Thank you, Ninjishin, who, by the way, is calibrating or finished calibrated my 83-inch back there. Sony A90Js are not accurate for JUD or D65 out of the box. That's why both modes need calibration and why Dolby Vision isn't great on the Sonys without calibration. Ouch. So this kind of flies in the face of what... Okay, here's the question, Ninjishin, if you're still here. If it's not calibrated, out of the box, they look pretty good. How noticeable is it off is the question, right? For the typical non-enthusiast, where if your girlfriend, wife, significant other saw the A90J, is it as bad as we think it could be? Like, oh my gosh, the face is too pink. Or it's just OCD for those of us who are OCD about these things. So let us know, Ninjishin, because this is probably correct, but I don't know how bad is it, right? Or those of you who have a Sony, you tell me. You guys, there's a lot of you who have Sony A80J, A90J, X90J, X95J, and I know many of you don't have calibrations. Tell me, what are you guys thinking about your Sony experience without the calibration?
My bad.
All right.
Oh, you're all good, man.
Now,
welcome
let's look at these real quick. Okay. And I wanted to hit... Oh, wait, here's one that I wanted to answer before we jump in. Here we go. I think this is a good segue into what you wanted to talk about a little bit. Oops. Hey, how'd you get up there? There we go. All right, Frank. TCL 6 Series Roku 1300 versus X90J 1600 75-inch. I'm sorry. You got to go with a larger X90J 1600 75-inch. And mostly it's this. Although the Roku TCL 6 Series is a great mini LED TV, and I've seen the comparison. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. I think the larger size trumps the image quality improvement of the 6 Series above the X90J for certain movies and streaming. I'm comfortable with a 75-inch at 1600. I would sway you towards a 75-inch 6 Series Roku. Wait, is that 1300 75-inch?
Maybe that's 1300. I gotta look.
Oh, wait, yeah, let's double check that. Yeah, if it's 75-inch, that's even worse. Yeah, double check that for me. I just assumed it's 65.
Let's see. Yeah, that's 1300 right now. That's actually a pretty good deal.
Okay. The TCL 6 Series Roku 1300 is a good TV.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I mean, I have the 55. I think it's great. I think the 75 will be consistent with that. I would save the $300 because what the X90J brings to the table would be Google TV. If you really need Google TV, I would go with the 1300 TCL 6 Series. How about you guys?
I would too.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that. I haven't had any experience with those TVs yet, the TCL. You guys really like the TCL, huh?
For movie watching and streaming, I think it's absolutely fine.
And
Yeah.
the new one is upgraded over the last one. Like I want to get the 6 series, the 646. I want to get that
Try
just to
it.
check it out
The new one
Yeah,
is
I like
brighter.
it.
The new one's a
I
touch
like it a
brighter.
lot. I
because
think
I didn't what I didn't like last year was just a little bit like off angle. It was a little sketch, a little bit off angle. The blooming and the same mini LED kind of issue. It looked like kind of an IPS type thing where when you were off angle, it kind of washed it out. So I just
mhm.
didn't know if that kind of stuff was improved. If they had improved black level, I'm sure a lot of it improved then, right?
So one thing not a lot of people realize, and you bring up a good point, is TCL has been doing their firmware updates like everybody else, and their firmware updates actually bring something to the table, which is they're improving the blacks quite a bit. Last year, when I reviewed it, it didn't perform as well as it did after the two firmware updates since I last reviewed it last year, or even three. And now it's very close to the Google TV, with the biggest difference being the depth of the blacks and the brightness. The new one does get a bit brighter, so that's just something. Yeah, I think it's the limitation of possibly the Roku or Google TV software, because the new Google TV software allows you to calibrate the TV with a 2 point or 20 point, whereas the Roku only allows you to do the minimal calibration they have available, plus the IPQ engine app. And let me look it up real quick about the 75-inch pricing here. And we see that on the TCL website, it does show that it's 1800 when it launches. So maybe on the Best Buy website, that's just a placeholder. Let me show this real quick for those of you who are curious to see if you're holding out for the 75-inch 6 series. Ta-da! It's 1800. Now, of course, when you click on where to buy, it takes you to the Best Buy, which is charging 2300. So maybe they're already scalping the TV ahead of time. I don't know.
I think it was just like TCL maybe thought they could get away with that price tag, and then they realized quickly that it's not
And
gonna
it's still
work.
there. It's still 1800, right? And
Yeah.
by the way, if Sony is going 1600 on their 75-inch, a TCL might have to, because most people, when they see Sony X90J, they'll still get the Sony,
Hmm.
regardless of what we say. So, yeah,
That is
Yeah.
true. It's hard to convince people to go with the lesser brands.
yeah. And of course, this takes us to the TCL 635 is 1300. 646 is not. What is the difference? The 646 is brighter, and it does local dimming better. But if in a brighter scene, they both look identical. In Dolby Vision, bright scenes, you cannot tell the difference if they're both calibrated. But in the darker scenes, the super bright HDR extreme scenes, the 646 does not bloom as much as the 635. The only TV that blooms less than 646 would be the QN90A.
I
That's been
agree
my
with that.
experience.
Yeah,
Pretty
So
good
that's
that's what I've
company.
seen so far too. I think
yeah,
it
oh,
like
yeah.
outshined the UHG so much
Oh, I
in
know.
terms of blooming. It was crazy.
That's
It is.
interesting because last year it didn't. I mean, last year
No.
Yeah,
the
right.
635 was
Hmm.
right there, and I thought that the H9G was better. So
Yeah, the 646, like when you don't have local dimming on, it even does really good without it. It's crazy how good that TV is without local dimming. I haven't seen that from an LCD.
I think that's a good implementation of the actual mini LEDs. Like they're
Hmm.
able to just have the
I have to
areas be
say,
smaller.
yeah, I think TCL really figured it out this year. I have to hand it to them. There were many scenes that TCL, the R646, I thought it did a better job than the Sony. And we're not talking out of the box color accuracy or anything like that. We're just talking if you're looking at local dimming performance, and it better, right? It has more dimming zones, it has mini LED, but I'm just so impressed they're able to do it for that price. That is what I think is pretty shocking,
Yeah.
right? Hey, thanks for the question, Jenna Slice. I have an 85-inch QN98 connected via ARC or eARC, optic fiber HDMI to RX V6A, audio dropout every 5 seconds. Do I need to get another AVR for Black Friday? It could be incompatibility between your TV and the AVR. How much of it is the QN90A? How much of it is the AVR? If your AVR is older, it's more likely the AVR is not compliant with whatever standard is being put out there. Now, the question is, if you choose another AVR, are you going to choose the right one that doesn't cause dropouts? Because it could be the TV. This is a part where it's so hard, because if the Q&A you have actually has a flaw that is a hardware issue unique to that model that you have, right? Because you just happen to have a problem. then you may have bought another AVR and then you still have dropouts. So this is one that I have a hard time answering unless
Mm.
other people with RX V6A also complain of the same thing. So my suggestion is go to the user forums that where the RX V6A people hang out. And if they all complain of dropouts, then it's the AVR. But if people have it with their Samsung and there's no dropout, then go to the Q90A forums and start seeking out if they have dropouts, because audio dropouts every 5 seconds. It's so hard to know which, or it could be your cable. You don't need fiber optic HDMI, by the way, to get any of this to work. So get good copper, because here's the problem with fiber optic. If you didn't know and you actually bent that cable at an angle it was not meant to bend, it will break the glass inside. Whereas copper, as long as copper stays connected, you're still going to carry a current. Optic fiber, not so much. If you crack that glass and you made a sharp bend or your kids were playing with it and you didn't know, you will have a permanently broken optic fiber HDMI cable. So I'd say start with a cable or any cable. It doesn't have to be 2.1. Just get some cable that you know works for sure, and then test that first. So, what are you guys' thoughts? What are your experience with this sort of dropout?
I
Yeah.
took away. Well, I didn't see the comment there.
Oh,
Sorry.
he was having a dropout every 5 seconds, connecting his AVR to the QN90A. He's thinking,
Yeah,
should he get a new AVR or
yeah. I mean,
troubleshooting?
there are definitely some compatibility issues with the older stuff. I think yeah. You just I don't know. Did the older one even have eARC or anything like that? I mean, did he say
Yeah, I don't know.
that his older thing have eARC?
Oh yeah.
Or arc. When he does
Mhm.
arc, it drops out as well. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. I think it's just the compatibility. Like some of the older versions of the software and stuff, they're just, I don't know if they're going to, fix them all the time, make sure everything is compatible with everything. It was always an issue back in the day. And even
And
the
it still
first,
is.
yeah, it still
yeah.
is. I mean, I've had good luck with most of my eARC compatible devices, but
Mhm.
I know other people have some issues.
And Phil, great question. What about Best Buy Total Tech Support? Do they sell the TCL for less or more? So the TCL 6 series is exclusive to Best Buy right now, right? I haven't found it anywhere else. So, and yes, they do offer total tech support for the TCL. Now, I don't know what you mean by they sell less or more. Basically, they're the only game in town. If you want to buy a 6 series, the Google TV 6 series, you have to go to Best Buy. And whether or not you need the tech support, well, it depends how much they charge. But I'm part of their total tech annual package anyway, which means everything I buy from them will get an automatic extended warranty for, I don't know, 24 months or something like that, as long as you're a member. So
Yeah.
that's something for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, can we talk about that? That's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember when they had Total Tech when I worked there, and it was always kind of an incentive for me to sell it as an employee, because you would get like a bonus at the end of the month,
hmm
and that's one of those things where it's like that would be so easy to sell now, because you get extended warranties on everything in comparison to what used to be. It's pretty
Okay.
nice.
If you guys ever had a washing machine break down, you're all like, do I have to buy a new washing machine? Because who fixes washing machines?
Mhm.
Best Buy sent a tech out, checked it out, bought the part, replaced everything for $50 under their total tech support. All I had to do was pay for the part. They did the rest, and the thing was 15 years old. And I was like, "You're kidding me?" He goes, "No, this is your total tech thing. It's $50,
Uh-huh.
$49.99." I was like, "Okay, this is why I'm so impressed by it." I think they're out a lot, working on a loss, because that guy came by twice on the same $50 visit. So I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, it is
Not bad,
impressive.
not bad.
Not bad. So if you guys have things that are breaking down, just get the total tech support. Okay, Duck Duck, thank you for the super chat. Thanks to KG and FOMO's R646 review. I bought it and I love it. Yeah, this is why it's my editor's choice TV of the year. I cannot think of a better TV within $500 of that TV. Seriously, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so good that I'm keeping it. Like, that's one of the things. Like, I don't usually keep TVs that I review, but like I'm keeping this one. And I was actually thinking about taking it back to try a different TV, but the fact that they dropped it in price even more, like I got $250 back onto my card, like and it's $675 for that TV. That's just like a
Mm.
no-brainer. So
No, yeah, the current prices? You
yeah,
kidding me? Yeah.
it's a ridiculous
You
deal.
gotta find that TV each year that's like the one you can't take back.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And
So
That's
that's why
it.
it's
not,
staying
I
in my
have a little
bedroom. I'm like,
I have a little
there.
FOMO that might be mine too. You know,
Yeah.
so
You're gonna love it, Brandon.
yeah.
Seriously,
It's
I
good.
have net. Other than QC, you get a bad TV. You get a bad TV. But if you
Yeah.
get one that's just works as it should, unbelievable.
I
And it's
will
got
say
the
this.
HDMI 2.1 this year too, right?
I
Yeah,
will say this
Which
it's
it
though.
got
didn't
the
have last
4K
year.
120, and
The
ironically, right,
uh-huh.
it's gaming works better than the Sony. Not to say that its gaming is great, by the way. It's just Sony's that bad.
Yeah, I have some notes on there on the gaming. So for 120 hertz, you are locked out of like most settings
Mhm.
on the TCL. So that's the only downside I found with gaming there. And then when VRR is on, there is some inverse ghosting. I found that as well.
Okay.
And then for as far as like the downsides to the TCL 6 series, I would say for me, I know you said you weren't dealing with this issue, but if you don't put your TV in the quick start mode, or like if you have it in quick start mode, sometimes the Wi-Fi will just shut off. It just won't work.
You know, I
And then
I've
you
been
have to like
playing with
force
that. Yeah,
power it off.
yeah. I don't
So
understand it.
have you been dealing with it Ash, also? Like
Never.
no?
I,
Okay.
after you posted that, I
Mm-hmm.
unplugged it to make sure I was only on Wi-Fi. Now, maybe it goes off and I don't know about it, but when I
Mm-hmm.
do stream Netflix, it's okay. But I think your issue was it couldn't find the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it just won't show
Yeah,
any
see,
like
I
networks
never
at
had a
all.
problem with that at all, and that's why I think it's possible you might have a bad chip. If you're still within the exchange period, why not?
Yeah. Well, like I use Apple TV anyway, though, but like
Okay.
for the most part, I'll say that I had this on the A80J as well, where sometimes the
Yeah,
Google TV was just tripping out on me. So I think it's a Google TV issue that can
it could
occur.
be.
It's like a bug.
Yeah, but I'm not getting it though. That's the thing. It should affect me
Hmm.
too. So keep that in mind.
Right.
Quick follow up. So that AVR is a brand new AVR, Brandon, 2021
Yeah.
from Yamaha. So I'm thinking, you know, check your cable before. If you're still within the return period, why not just exchange it, right? I wouldn't want you to miss your return exchange period. So for sure, do that just in case. But if you're out to the return period, check. I mean, buy another. It's already brand new. I don't want you to buy another one. I'm blocked right now. You have two, but
Hmm.
check your cables as well and see where that goes. But that's not to say that Samsung isn't having its own issues with eARC, by the way. That's also a Samsung issue
You
that,
can also look in and like in some forums there'll be information about those two specifics. Like you could even search that TV and that model AVR and see what other. I guarantee you other people are having that issue, and there may be a resolution, whether it's on Samsung page or if it's on a Yamaha page or just a neutral AV forum. There should be something that kind of goes in depth and kind of gives you like, okay, do this and then that and then this and then now, yeah, either you're screwed or you're not. But there's probably some. That's how I typically deal with it when I'm trying to fix the problem for people when I'm at their house. If I can't figure it out, I'll go down that road.
right. No, yeah, I hate troubleshooting those things because you don't know where the chain problem is. And Michael, thanks for the not super, thanks for the question. How do flagship TCLs and Hisense stack up against the Q98 in terms of gaming? So if you're referring to the Samsung Q98, the Samsung Q98 definitely has better execution, specifically VRR, image quality with HDR, all working together. It does look better, and it has lower latency if
Hmm.
that's what you need to hear. The TCL and Hisense, quote unquote, it works, right? But KG, I know you have more to say about the actual quality because you've
Oh
gamed
yeah.
on it.
So for gaming, I think like the QN98 is definitely far and above those two. And then next would be the TCL 6 series. I would say that is in the second tier for that. And then I would say third is going to be the Hisense. And in comparison to the QN98, it's definitely a step below. Like
Yeah,
so you have to keep that in mind, like lower your expectations a little bit. If you're gonna expect QN90A, I wouldn't expect that kind of performance, but for the most part it's decent. And I do like some of the options that you get at 60 hertz on the TCL 6 series. You get some of the micro dimming, looks really good in games. There's a lot of cool features that are in the picture options for the TCL that you don't have in the Hisense, in my opinion, that kind of give it the edge over the Hisense.
yep,
So
agreed. And yes, the TCL 6 series colors pop as
yeah.
much as the Samsung or the. I think we're beyond the point where, hey, that TV color pops a bit more than the other one. I think properly calibrated, they all pop. I
Hmm.
haven't seen TCL, the new 6 Series R646, if anything, sometimes it pops more. What you have to be aware, though, however, is if you max out the HDR performance, you're going to lose a little bit of color volume because you're going for brightness. Whereas the Sony, if you go gradient preferred, you're going to capture a little bit more color, but then it's less bright. So you have to choose. Colors can't pop too much because if it's too bright, you lose color, right? Color volume goes down when luminance goes up. So you have to
Yeah.
choose your poison. TCL 6 series will get brighter, but then you lose a little bit color in the highest highlights. And you'll see that in my X95J review, where if I go Sony to match the TCL 6 series bright pop, the color that was there is now gone. It's just that white pop. So choose your poison.
Right. I have a question. I can't remember if the U8G has the HDR tone mapping toggle on and off like the TCL 6 series does for gaming.
Which one?
The U8G. Does it have a HDR tone mapping toggle like on and
No.
off? No, I didn't think so.
So there is no tone. It has contrast enhance low,
Yeah,
but it's and the contrast enhance. I think it really literally is contrast. It's not, but it has local dimming, and it has contrast enhance, and that's it. Very limited, and that's why I think Hisense is missing out on what TCL did this year with Google TV, which is like, you're like Sony. Look at all these features and controls, right?
Yeah, and it really does look good. Like out of the box, like game mode looks fantastic on the TCL 6 series. So they definitely have that THX game mode. I'm just a little disappointed it doesn't say THX game mode like on the screen anywhere.
And this is a great question or comment by Eric, because your report says TCL is worse for privacy than Hisense. So now that TCL is going with Google TV, Google is in charge of your privacy to a certain degree as well. So maybe the question is not whether TCL Hisense is bad, but if they're going to defer to Roku and Google, those are the two that you should also look at as far as your privacy issues, in addition to TCL and Hisense being hardware tracking you. So this is such a moving target. I don't even know where to go. I just assume that if you're plugged into the internet, you have no privacy.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And you can just use fake emails when
Google
you set
has
it up
everything. And Google knows where you are. Don't worry about it.
But
even if you don't have a Google TV.
Dude,
I think this is a great segue though to what Brandon is unhappy. And we're talking about Google TV, but I think this goes into streaming issues. People are either very happy, not happy. Now, I'm very happy because of the convenience, but I want to know why Brandon is not happy.
Yeah, I can go over a few things. I'm going to go over a couple things here. So this is kind of relevant to everyone because you all have, service provider for internet. You all have cable or you have streaming. So
Brandon, can you bring your voice a little closer? I'm losing your audio.
Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Cox bill. Well, this is the data usage meter. So I had Spectrum and we were paying $40-50 a month. And then I was paying $60 a month to get their 400 megabyte per second speed and then, 20 or 40 upload speed. Now we've moved into an area where Cox Communication has service here. And the only option is to get AT&T, which is like 50 megabytes, which is awful. And they have just terrible service. So really it's pretty much a utility like monopoly here. And I can only get Cox. So my options for Cox are bad and awful. The first option is what I have here. It's $69 a month, which is only the first year. Really, it's $100 a month. And that's just simply 500 megabytes download speed, 5 megabytes per second. And upload is 20. So that's half the speed of my other one, of my Spectrum. But they have data usage. So I can only get 1.25 terabytes of download. Or 1 terabyte, whatever, 1280 gigabytes, as you can see on the screen. And now they've already added 200 gigabytes in the first month, which costs $10 per 50. So that's $40 more. So I'm going to have to pay $100 a month for internet minimally. And that's just for internet because so you can use their internet, but you can't use a lot of it or they're going to charge you more. So it's already costing me twice as much just to use this internet that I have from Cox. And then it doesn't even get me into the next problem, which is now what service should I use, to get TV? Because now I have only the options. And I lost my Spectrum app, which was only $20 a month for me to get like 10 channels plus all the local channels on the streaming app. And Spectrum actually was in 4K too. So I had a Spectrum app in 4K, and I didn't realize that all of these other services don't even offer 4K yet. So Hulu TV does not offer 4K. YouTube TV does not offer 4K. They offer it, but you have to pay extra. And a lot of the other ones that are monthly services to give you like the actual channels don't offer that. So I wanted to show you guys, this is the pricing that I'm paying for. This is the YouTube TV pricing now. And so on top of that $69, which is already $109 because I went over, luckily the billing ends tomorrow or today, whatever. I'm going to have to pay $65 a month just for the base plan on YouTube TV. And then if I want 4K, I have to pay $20 a month. And if I have the 4K, it only gives you 4K for some channels, which are, you know, you get like Discovery, ESPN, Fox News, FX, basically a few sports channels, but you don't get any of the movie channels in 4K either. And then on top of that, I had to pay another $15 a month for HBO Max. I ended up just getting this Entertainment Plus, which is HBO, Showtime, and Stars for $30 a month. My wife likes Hallmark, and then I don't think we got this Stars. So the point is that this is another $100 a month for me to get YouTube TV, to get the basically the channels I used to have. But in order to get, and I don't even get all of them in 4K, I only get a few of the channels in 4K, which is Showtime and ESPN and like Fox Sports. So basically the point is that I can either go back to cable, which is, you know, $200 a month with Cox, and then I wouldn't have to use as much data on their internet because I wouldn't be streaming as much. But if I'm going to be doing these kind of videos, YouTube videos, uploading my content, all this stuff, you got to pay like $100 a month with Cox just to get their minimal internet speed and data. So I'm very stressed out because, I mean, I was paying $100 for internet and TV services with Spectrum. And I was kind of like, oh, the Spectrum app's not very good. And now I'm like, crap, this is awful. Like now my options are way worse. I'm paying $200 a month to not have cable and to try to use, you know, YouTube TV. And I think I told you, FOMO, the YouTube TV app in HD, because I can't get 4K, is actually showing up with having like red in the wide bars.
Yeah, what is up with that? Is that like a image issue?
I don't know. It's just the lack of quality from their app because nothing else does that. You know, we have really good TVs. I have two A90Js. I mean, they do bring out the flaws in lower resolution content sometimes because they're so good. But I mean, I can't see in the widescreen bars on any kind of content. There's this like red tint to it and it lifts the whole screen. So I'm just like struggling because I'm like, okay, now I'm actually paying way more to now get only HD footage from YouTube TV. And it looks like crap on my nice TVs. And before I was paying like a quarter of, you know, half the price or quarter of the price to have better content. So there's a lot of these things. And the problem is you can't really hold anyone accountable because Spectrum, Cox, they don't care. I mean, They don't even, like, you call their customer service, they don't even know what you're talking about. Like they don't know that they don't have 4K. They don't know if it's HD. And it's just like, you know, it's just really, they have a monopoly and it's just a lot of stress. So I was wondering if anyone else had some issues issues with this kind of stuff or recommendations of what they have. I'd like to hear in the comments what people think about this sort of stuff. And also, you know, while you're here, you guys should hit the like button right before you comment too. So you guys can tell us.
Can I comment real quick then?
Sure.
What I noticed that you mentioned is, before I comment, let's recognize the super chat from Rainer Richter, who snuck in.
What up, Rainer?
Super chat and then took off, and I can't find his super chat.
Oh, it's up here. He probably there. I got it here. He probably he didn't catch the spot where we were talking about his QN900A though either.
No. I know we were giving him a shout
go ahead.
out.
What were you going to say about the?
But I was going to ask you when you said it was okay. So when you say it's the only game in town, essentially it's a monopoly to get into internet service, high bandwidth internet service, right? Is that what you're saying? They're the only game in town?
Well, I mean, if for any of you guys, would it be acceptable to try to use one of those things like HughesNet and get 25 megabytes per second? I mean, or even the AT&T. If AT&T is not fiber, it is worthless because it's running on the copper wire that's been there for 20 years and it's just Cat 5, and you got to, when someone else pumps up their internet next door, yours is going down, man. It does not work very fast.
Yeah.
And so I've installed a ton of like AT&T on the non-fiber network, and it's awful for people and they hate it. So the only option that's over 100 megabytes per second or over 50 even is Cox. And in other areas it's Spectrum. But at least with Spectrum, they're not putting caps on your data. I mean, like, really, in 2021, we're having caps on our data. I think the only reason that they do that is because they know if they cap it, you're going to have a hard time. They're not collecting revenue on cable if you're using streaming services. So they're trying to collect revenue. They're trying to get some of that money for you streaming on their service.
So they don't have an unlimited option at all?
They do, but it's $50 more.
Oh, okay.
So
well, it might be worth it for you, though.
Well, it probably is going to be worth it for me. But now I'm paying $120 on a discount to get basically like half the speed of fiber,
Yeah,
so
that's what I pay. I pay $120 for like 100 megabits per second and unlimited data.
Yeah, so listen,
sucks,
it's all relative.
Comcast too.
Yep.
And
Comcast,
so
Xfinity.
It's technically not even the cable service. It's just getting internet. You get screwed by the whole package because a lot of people are saying, well, where are you getting cable? It's not that. Just trying to get access to the internet, high-speed internet, you have to deal with this mess.
Yeah, I want to look at some of these comments, but one of the things I have to say is I'm almost back to the point where I would be better off just getting the whole shebang from Cox, having them package it all in. Give me like unlimited data, unlimited speed, give me the gigablast, give me the cable, give me everything. Yes. I think that I'd still be under $200 a month, and it's like, that's what I'm paying. I'm going to pay $200, and now you have access to the Contour app, which gives you some of the channels nationwide, but I can't get that Contour app unless I have a full cable package.
I think that's exactly their plan. Once they also control your access to the internet, we're talking gigabit.
Yeah,
they'll say, look, if you don't buy our cable package, we'll just charge you twice as much as we normal. And if
all
you get access, we give you a bundled discount. You're like, wait a minute, that's kind of.
Yeah, and all of their packages have only 1.28 terabytes or one terabyte. So no matter what package you have, even Gigablast, you have to pay that $50 a month for unlimited internet on top of it.
Hey, we have an apology for you, Brandon.
Yeah, I saw.
Thanks for the super chat, Leo. Hey, tell me he was right about the QNET 99. I apologize. I returned and just got the G1. Really loving it. So bright and VRR, and really bright and VRR. I think you've nailed it right there.
I can't imagine anyone that listens to us on a daily basis putting the QNET 99 next to the G1 and picking that QNET. There's no way, dude. Even in a bright room, there's 0% chance you're doing that. You'd have to have on that HDR channel that only shows bright like scenes out in the wild. Maybe, but as soon as you turn on anything dark or turn the lights off, QNET 99 sucks.
Yeah, what's unfortunate about that is like the sale price is really, really like something that you would want maybe, but the fact that the TV doesn't perform up to it is just unfortunate because at that price, it's a good price if it was a good TV.
If it was a good TV, right?
Yeah. And I don't know.
The problem is IPS. Hey, for a monitor, IPS works, but for a TV, and you have all these use cases that the IPS is not designed as well for. Pac-Man has a great question though. 65% upscaling, watching, I guess, low bitrate content DVDs or over the air. 20% movies and streaming. 15% games. Would you still get the Q98 85-inch or the Sony X95 85-inch? So I see 65% upscaling. I'd go with the Sony X95J 85-inch because of its XR reality creation upscaling. 15% games, I'll deal with locked frame rates that, it may not have as low latency, but I'm not a serious gamer. So when you see 15%, I'm assuming you're a console gamer. I would go with the X95J because of 65% upscaling. But how about you guys?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I think the price difference is the one thing that I really like.
Yeah, let's assume they're the same price because right now the Q90 is $3,300. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if the Samsung is less than the Sony here, I'd have to go with the Samsung because, traditionally when these two are the same size, normally the Samsung's more expensive. So the fact that the Samsung is less than the Sony in these two TVs, that's probably where it ends up. But he said movie streaming. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Upscaling, regular cable. I think they both look fine for regular cable. I guess it probably make
Mhm.
more sense to tell us where you're watching it,
Yeah,
in the
what
dark
is
or in
your
a bright
low bit
room.
rate
Yeah.
upscale? If you're upscaling 1080p, I get the Samsung without even thinking twice. We're talking like 480p DVDs that the Sony will do better.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I want to get a couple. Well, go ahead. I want to
Yeah,
get a
yeah, go
couple
no.
of the
Oh,
responses
this
to the
will probably take a
streaming
long
stuff.
time. I should leave this at the end. So, what do we
Yeah.
predict for 2022 TV? So, we'll leave this at the end. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's a couple people that are responding to some of these comments that I wanted to jump on here. They were talking about the data caps, asking if everyone has data caps, and Spectrum does not have data caps. Like
Wow,
that's
that's
definite.
cool.
I know because
Yeah,
I've had
That's
no
dope.
data caps for the last like 5-6 years. We've
yeah.
had that,
And
and
AT&T, I have AT&T fiber. I don't have data caps either.
Hmm.
I better
okay,
not.
yeah. Do you have the AT&T or no? Okay, then there's also the FiOS, and people said they don't have a cap either. And then there was a couple. Nicholas Jarrett said, "Showing my love. I'll message you my Spectrum password and Instagram so you can have it back." Dude, the funny thing is that I had Spectrum, and now in this day of age or whatever, if you have like HBO because you have the access through Spectrum, you can go and download the HBO Max app and then log in. So I was logged into every account, my ESPN, TNT, Showtime, Stars, all those, and then I would use my Spectrum login to get in. So basically, every app on my phone that has to do with TV watching was all on there, and I could watch a football game on the ESPN. So it was pretty good for like I paid $45 a month because I had all the movie channels for $15 a month too. So I was paying, like I said, $60 for internet and $45 for all of the channels, app, and everything. So $105 out the door for the last many years. And so that's why I'm so wound up about it. But yeah. Let me see what else we got here.
What else you got?
Some people were talking about calling Consumer Reports, which would be great.
Wait, calling Consumer Reports to
Well,
do what?
or like complaining to some of the try to get some of the.
Well, hey, while you're looking, let me throw in this real quick because I know
Sure.
there's a lot of confusion about the whole total tech support. So,
Thanks, Matt. Or thanks, Nicholas. By the way, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so this is the updated Best Buy Total Tech. So as long as you're a member, almost everything you buy, that's a tech purchase, and this includes TVs. I made sure to look into this. You get 24 months of extended warranty or 24 months warranty as long as you're still a member. And if you're planning to remain a member throughout the life of these purchases, you get the extended warranty. And that also adds in a bunch of the other stuff that some have mentioned. So I linked it below earlier. I think this is great for those who are constantly buying stuff and you're afraid about warranties or whatever, and you call people in to do repairs. For that, it's worth it. Now, if you never use it, you never buy any tech that don't do it. So I think this is a good direction for them. Now, whether they'll keep it at this price is a whole other matter. Sometimes they hook you in and then they raise the prices and then it's a whole other thing. So, but I am a member because I do use it regularly. I have them come in to install my overhead ceiling stuff. I have them stuff I just don't want to do. I just have them do. They install my Nest cameras, right? Like what it's so inexpensive to have them do it. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many products too that you can get returned and exchanged the same day as well, like 2 years later or whatever. Like if you have a monitor and all of a sudden that monitor is kind of like not performing the way you wanted to perform, you could bring it in if you're under warranty and get it exchanged for a different monitor like instantly, which is pretty crazy.
So, review for YouTube or the tube. Thanks for text or messaging. I know that typically the not the the bit rate of these services aren't as great as disc or whatever, but you can't really tell on the 4K HDR Dolby Vision ones, to be honest. But a lot of this other stuff, what I was saying before is that the Spectrum app it is a little bit like it's not perfect, but a lot of the stuff is in 4K and it looks a hell of a lot better. Here's my problem with YouTube TV. Let me put this out. The commercials look better than the content, right? You shouldn't be able to, you shouldn't be watching a movie like Wolf of Wall Street that's only 8 years old. And then when a commercial comes on, have a 4K beautiful commercial that looks amazing. And you're like, oh, wow. So wait, YouTube TV can push 4K commercials at you, but they can't even push like better than HD. And the footage, a lot of these movies just don't look good.
Wait. Can I, okay. I have to complain exactly what you did. I had to test Ready Player One on the HT-A9. So I bought the YouTube copy, right? Like $14. It was horrible. The audio was 5.1, the video wasn't there, and then I put in my disc version, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, why does YouTube even bother selling this?
That's
thing?
what I'm.
So,
This
right?
is what
So,
I'm
yeah,
dealing
that's
with
it.
going from Spectrum to YouTube. I mean, I'm basically I'm looking at my beautiful A90J, and then I put Wolf of Wall Street on it, and it's like awful. It looks terrible. People's faces are orange, like, and it's not the calibration because these TVs are calibrated, so they're good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that they have that YouTube TV, the app. It's just not. It's putting HD out. I don't even know what resolution is. I should try to find out. But I mean, when I go to an HD channel, it looks fairly good, but it's still not nearly as good as the Spectrum app was. And it says, and I talk to people on YouTube TV, they're like, oh, we don't offer, it's not available. It's like, how is it not available? Like there's the HBO Max app, there's the Stars app. They're all in Dolby Vision. Like they need to figure out how to make it available. If they're trying to charge you $20 a month for for 4K, it should have all the channels in 4K. Because that's all I would pay $20 a month, but I'm only getting like 3 channels with 4K. So it's pretty crazy. Anyways,
Yeah,
we can get back to some of this.
I think most people don't realize that. Oh, go Shib, Michelle.
Yeah, what's up? I got to put that up. What's up? Oh, here it is. There, she put right here, and she said, "And go Shib." Just bought the Samsung projector for $2,500.
Hey, how do you like it? Tell us. Tell us a little bit about it.
She'll tell us.
Yeah, she will tell. How big is your screen? Like, how far are you sitting away?
And go Shib.
Is it 120 inches, 100 inches? Because a lot of people are debating. They might want to go 120-inch size, like $5,000. You got the triple laser Samsung and the Hisense. You get 120 inches, but the image quality is definitely not as good, but you get larger. Would you guys exchange size for quality, right? The difference between projector and TV.
Yeah. And I like this, Corey Taylor. I think that's a good idea. Use my access to the YouTube TV app to then go into directly into NBC and directly into CBS and Fox, because then they have the 4K footage. It's better. It just looks a lot better. But this is the problem, is you have to do this for every channel now. So it's just a lot of apps to go through and a lot of different devices. But I get that. It's still expensive. I mean, now I'm paying well over $100 for what I was paying for like $30 a month before. So, or 45 total. Yeah. What do you guys have? What do you guys have? FOMO, you said you don't have cable, or what do you have? Do you have actual cable?
Okay, so
on top
I don't
of it?
have cable. I just get the AT&T gigabit package, but that was package. The gigabit, just ordering gigabit, they offer HBO Max as part of it. So if you get the full gigabit, high bandwidth, whatever, unlimited, they throw in HBO Max and I think a few other things. And for me, because I need to have gigabit just to do what we do, it's a great deal, but they don't try to force their cable side on you. I mean, they would offer it. So they're packaging their digital HBO Max as part of it, which
let's not be too kind with AT&T though. They're pretty awful, like customer service
this is
wise.
This is recent.
Their installation, they're terrible. So I mean, I'm glad that you're having success with them, but like for the most part, I can't find a company that's had worse customer service and like just installation debacles like AT&T. If you can get their fiber though, I mean, there's nothing like getting fiber internet. The fiber internet's amazing.
That's it. But you're right.
I mean, it is like boom, boom, up, download. You can upload a video in like 10 seconds. I mean, it's like insane.
I think once a month it goes down for no reason. And I call them and they're like, oh yeah, just give it a day.
Yeah, and you can call DirecTV or AT&T. They have 2 different systems, so it gets pretty complicated sometimes.
Yeah, DirecTV is its own thing now, so like they don't even have deal with AT&T no more.
Well, they still do. No, I still do.
Oh, they do?
I mean, I have.
Well, I don't have to deal with them no more.
I have the NFL ticket offline, not with either.
Yeah.
And it takes me through DirecTV all the way back to DirecTV all the way through AT&T. And the worst thing is that they don't have any solutions, because they're like, oh, this part of DirecTV, which is part of AT&T, is we're not open on Sundays, so you can't even communicate to them about NFL on Sundays. So it's pretty crazy.
I got Sunday ticket as well.
Hey Matthew, thank you for the super chat. Do you think that Samsung will finally put Dolby Vision on the QD display next year? Good question, because we know that Dolby Vision benefits TVs that have a lower brightness because it helps with tone mapping. And we know that the QD display will not be as bright as the normal TVs. It would definitely benefit from Dolby Vision, but will they do it? I still don't think they will because they're just a very obstinate and proud company. I think it's personal for whatever reason, but that's my
Let,
guess. What do you guys think about
well,
this whole Dolby
I have
Vision?
something interesting. I don't think I told you guys this, but I
Okay,
got interviewed. Have you guys gotten interviewed regarding like
the
your,
Samsung.
yeah, or what
Yeah,
was, I don't know if it was Samsung. I got interviewed by a third party company.
yeah. Mine was talking a lot about Samsung,
Yeah, but so
but
you got interviewed by a third party company and
yeah,
you made like a hefty amount for that interview
yeah,
because I
yeah.
did.
Hmm.
Okay. So here's my thing. I railed on, I said the only thing that Samsung could do better right now is quality control, right? We said, quality control, get the standards up. But I said, Dolby Vision is killing them. I mean, they're getting killed. Is there a question that you get more from people about Samsung TVs than why don't they have Dolby Vision? I mean, that's like,
That's the number
Yeah.
one question. That's
that's
the
by
only
like
reason they don't
by a
buy it.
landslide, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
people, it
Yeah.
happens all the time. So like I answered that. I was like, I felt like I was talking directly to Samsung. I'm like, they were all on the other side of the glass, and I'm like, get
You know,
Dolby Vision.
here's the thing: Samsung, if you want to take over the TV market, as if you haven't already,
They
Hmm.
offer
have,
Dolby
but yeah.
Vision, right? Offer Dolby Vision, and suddenly nobody will be buying anything else, even with the quality control, because the reviewers will get the golden samples. Like, oh my God, this is amazing TV, and you're done.
And they don't necessarily need Dolby Vision, but it's a big sticking point for a lot of people.
And it's cheap. It's like it costs you guys nothing. You pass it on to the consumer. You charge an extra $20 for a TV. No
And
one
how
even
could you not
notice.
be like, okay, now your Samsung Note has Dolby Vision, your phone has Dolby Vision, everything has Dolby Vision. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
just like when is a product from? I mean, I'm sure someone's going to tell me now, but when is a product from Dolby failed? Like Dolby is a great partner to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. I think like eventually they'll realize they can have their HDR10 Plus and still have Dolby Vision.
of
Like you
course.
can have these both live, and hopefully they can realize that soon because
Yeah.
it will just increase TV sales for them. It'll be a lot less painful for people to buy a Samsung that are kind
E-
of on the
e-
fence.
even if Dolby Vision, let's just say for the sake of argument, is crappy. Let's just say it does nothing for the Samsung TV. What does it matter? The consumer wants it. The consumer is
Hmm.
always right, and it doesn't ruin your TV. It's just a layer of processing. Even if you do it badly, by the way, like Sony has Dolby Vision. It doesn't even work right, right? An insertion and class is like, well, it's even not even that good. Okay, go there. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. They buy a Sony
Right.
because it offers Dolby Vision. And this is the
Pretty funny.
first year Sony offered TV led Dolby Vision. Before that, it was really crappy Dolby Vision. It's unusable because it was player led. And people
Right.
Yeah.
bought Sony's because it had Dolby Vision that didn't even work. So, hey, thanks for the super chat, Matthew. X95J versus QN98 for the best bright HDR impact at a similar price. And you're welcome. We love providing these videos and streams. So, QN98, they are actually really similar. So, I have them both side by side. In a bright room, high peak levels, actually, the X95J will get brighter overall on the entire screen in some scenes, but the Q98, because it has better contrast and the blacks get blacker, it will appear better HDR impact. So I would go with the QN98 personally, if I could be assured that I don't have dirty screen effect. But how about you guys? That's just my personal thing about. We'll talk about Samsung again. So many people complain that Samsung has these dirty screen effect issues from their TVs out of the box.
Hmm.
Well, the X95J and the X90J that I had weren't necessarily perfectly clean. They were a little better, but they weren't like remarkably better. And I had on the X95J a little bit of like black the what do you call it? The black uniformity wasn't very good either. So like when it went to black, it would be like when
You
you
see the
shut your
white?
eyes, when
Yeah.
you shut your eyes and open your eyes real fast and you still see a little light, it was kind of like that. So
Yeah.
I still think we keep talking about this. I think because the QN90A price is so competitive, I almost would have to say like
It's
it's that that's probably the
okay.
deciding factor.
You bring
Unless
such a
you
good
want Dolby
point.
Vision.
This is exactly what you bring up such a good point, Brandon. When the Q90 is priced below the X95J, as it is right
That's
now,
tough. Yeah.
everyone thinks the X95J is the better TV. No, the QN98 is Samsung's flagship. The
Hmm.
X95J is not Sony's flagship. That's
Yep.
the Z9J. X95J is supposed to be the equivalent of the QN85, not the QN90. The QN90 is the better TV.
Well, let's just,
cost
even if
aside.
you call these two both the flagships, because they both have 8K models, right? So they,
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Sure.
So if you call these the top two, last year, the X950H was less than the Q90T. And that was maybe closer because the Q90T only had like 100 dimming zones, right?
Yes,
or something like
that is closer.
So that was closer, but still the Q90T last year, still the only downsides for me was that uniformity, right? And yes, maybe the Dolby Vision thing again, but this year the X95J looks very similar, which I reviewed it well because it's still a very popular TV. It's you know, the flaws aren't too bad. It's got some upsides. But that Samsung QN90A and the Samsung QN900A, both with the black level being so close to what an OLED is, and then the price being lower, it just seems like it's a little bit above, you know?
And since you're talking, my friend, this question is for you. Hey, A90J, how is it without VRR? Any tearing? You gamer, you?
No, yeah, right. I'm not a big gamer. One, I'll say we have all of the games we play. My son, who is an avid gamer, says he really doesn't care about 120 or 60 frames. So he's playing, you know, he thinks that he can play some games a little better when there's when it's the lowest input lag and all that. But I mean, I haven't even hooked up a computer up to any of my OLEDs. The only one that I have a computer hooked up is the 48-inch one that we got for free, you know, so which is awesome. And when I change my computer from 30 to 60 to 120 frames per second, it's noticeable. But even on that, I don't really care about the frame tearing, screen tearing. Like I don't know. You'd have to ask Mr. Gamer here.
Mr. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think if you see tearing on the A90J, you'll see it on everything that doesn't have VRR. So it's like, it's not going to be worse at tearing, so to speak. It's just like, if it doesn't have VRR, there's a chance you'll see tearing. But if you're playing console games, you're probably not going to see much tearing, honestly. I haven't seen too much tearing except for like a few select titles.
Hey,
so I play without VRR all the time on my Samsung because I play with Game Motion Plus.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Just because I go to a lot of crypto live streams. I watch like crypto live streams. And
I'm trying to get into it.
No, check it out. So they have like 800 people, but there'll be like 750 likes. And so if we can match the likes to how many people are watching, they will show this to more people.
I know.
So I would appreciate if you guys could just like it. It's 100 likes and 300 people watching. So that means only one.
Come on, my friends. Click on like.
I've clicked like. It takes like 1 second to like it, and we really appreciate it. So I don't want to keep harping on that, but if you guys can hook it up.
Let's convince Super Go-Getter to click like by answering his question. I live in Sweden.
We won't answer any more questions until they do it. No.
Yeah, and it costs $4,000 with one Connect box. And then he has a less expensive one that is not one Connect. It's $3,200. So it really begs the question: is the one Connect box worth the extra $800? And for me, because it's 4 times HDMI 2.1, unless I have a reason to connect 4 HDMI 2.1 sources, I really don't need the one Connect box. Yeah, it's slim, but it's not a big deal for me. I think if it's important to you to connect it to a wall and have a thin string go out, then it is. But what are your guys' thoughts on the offering of a one Connect that's $800 more?
I think I would buy it if I'm wall mounting, because like that solution is nice. I have it on the Q7 FN. And I like it. Like, and I'm sad if that TV goes out. Like, what am I gonna do? Because I'm gonna have all these wires, and I'm gonna have to go to the installer's website and check out his videos and see how to hide my wires. So, like, I'm not looking forward to that replacing it.
And I'd like to introduce Vizio's #1 fan, Brian, our friend, Whisper Status, right? Get a Vizio. Go get a Vizio. I think he's trying to chase our viewers away. Hey, and you have the link, my friend. If you're free, hop on and talk to us. But he just cracks me up. Go get a Vizio. It's without a warranty, right? Live dangerously.
Someone had told us we missed a super chat.
Find that super chat.
Was it this one from Lynn, or did we already go over this?
Oh, no, we did not. Let's do this one. Okay,
ahead,
love my A90J. Thank you, Lynn. Sorry we took so long. Bought my niece 65-inch. Wow, what a wonderful and to have a
That's pretty
X80J
cool.
650, not bad. Best Buy Total Tech. It won't pass my eye test, but is it a good deal for the average person? Lynn,
Probably.
come on. If it didn't pass your eye test, come on, right?
Yeah,
Do you
she
think
look.
it,
I mean, look at her TV. She's got good TV. So no, it's not going to pass your eye test. And no, I wouldn't even give it
okay.
to a family member. But well, I mean, I guess I would.
Well,
But most people aren't going to notice. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
most people
but
won't
let's
notice.
talk about the price though.
Mhm.
What do you think for 650? What is better? Let me pull out my chart because did we
Oh.
do this just this week? Right. I think I have a suggestion for you
Oh,
right
yeah. You got
here.
a suggestion. You guys are
I
talking
do.
about it.
I do.
Absolutely.
I have it. So let me pull this out while you guys are talking so that I can help Len real quick. Here we go. And
I don't want to say what I think. I haven't even reviewed the TV, but
Mhm.
there's a TV that you guys have talked about today.
all right. And here we are, Len. Let's look at this. Let's check out your pricing and let's share this real quick. All right. So I'll take it down real quick, Len. Okay. 65-inch, $700 TCL 5 series. Boom. You see that? 65-inch, go to the lowest price recommended is the 5 series. This will do better than the X85 or 80J. Why? Because it's not on my list. This list is what I think is the best for the money. Anything that's not on this list is underperforming what is on this list for the same
Mhm.
price. And some of them are here only because of interest. Like the X90J is here because so many people ask about it, but I'd recommend the 6 series over it all day long. And now that the VRR is out and it's not impressive, well, now you have to take a risk whether it even works. But yeah, if you're in that $700 range, the 5 series, I believe, will get you more image quality than the X80 or 85J that you have right now. So something to think about, but many will disagree. That's why we're here. Okay, that was it.
No, you're good, man.
Oh, this view. I love this view.
Oh,
I'm the only
wait.
one with my head in the middle.
I know what happened. Oh, what
Don't worry
happened
about
there?
it.
All right. Oh, hey, before I forget, I know we're nearing
So
the
good.
end of our stream really quick. How about the X95J? And real quick, because I had a chance to look at it. So this guys gives you a sneak peek into my impressions. And the reason why I want to do it now is many of you are deciding whether or not to get the X95J, and you want to hear about the pros and cons, or you're saving money and waiting for the X95J to drop in price. So I'm comparing the X95J directly head to head with the QN90A, the U8G, and the TCL R646 6 Series Google TV. So
Mhm.
these are the pros. Even against those TVs, it is bright. Colors look great, but it is calibrated. So, but out of the box, I hear that its colors are pretty good regardless. But
Yeah.
it's definitely bright, and it is great for most movie and streaming content, which means unless you're a critical viewer, it is great, especially in full field. Now, this is where I and Keep It Classy Tech may disagree a little bit because he does like it overall better than any other LCD TVs. And I will place the QN98 above it, specifically in extreme HDR situations, meaning you have these dark black scenes and then bright area scenes. This will expose the X95J, and that includes. Now, the black bars aren't bad, by the way. They did a
Mhm.
great job of black bars. It's evenly lifted. I'm talking in the scene, there will be blooming. And it's only because it doesn't have enough dimming zones. But if you don't watch those kind of movies, it doesn't matter. And then, of course, the second con we all know is gaming. Don't get this TV as a gaming TV. Get a TV, and if you happen to game on it, great, but that's not why you get it. And the last con, QN98 is cheaper. There's I
Yeah.
as
I
long as the Q90 is still cheaper, I still have to recommend that over the X95J because it is the better TV. But
Mhm.
if it's the same price, then I think Keep It Classy Tech's preference comes into play. You have to ask yourself, do you watch TVs the way I do, or do you like the way Classy or others? Because at the same price, they're close enough that maybe. But cosmetically, I think the Q98 is the better looking TV. It appears more flagship to me. I do like the remote control better, and I prefer Tizen over Google TV. But I think that's a little subjective. So
Yeah, I kind of disagree on the looks more premium thing because I like when you have the TV lay flat. When you can have the legs sitting out to the side, when you can give it the low profile look.
that is
That's
true.
that's really really nice looking. If you're putting it on a stand, of course.
That is true. And for Brandon, right down your alley, only you can answer this, my friend.
Why would
If
I
you're looking
answer
for
that?
a
I don't know anything about
calibrator, what
calibrator.
is a good price you look for?
I don't know, and we
Because
can ask our resident calibrators here. I mean,
hey, Ninjician,
Ninjician.
what are the local calibrators charging right now? Because
I
I
think
don't want to
it's
speak out of turn.
calibration isn't an easy or a quick process, and the equipment is expensive. So I mean, you're going to pay a few $100. I think that's just something you should. If you want to get it calibrated, you want to. I think for the most part, a few $100 is what they charge. Best Buy used to have this thing where they would charge, they would do it for like $50 if you're a part of that total tech support. They don't do that any longer. They were probably getting, they're crushed on sending the calibrators out there and just not making enough. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never looked into it just because I was never able to provide that value for my customers. I was too busy doing installations.
So they never asked you to bring in well, not that they would ever ask you. Right.
But they asked me if I calibrated, but I just was like, okay, I got to get to the next job. I wasn't looking at it from the perspective of maybe adding that service. I should have, I probably should have, and maybe I still will at this, get
at some point
to become a calibrator.
When you find the time. This is a great point that we don't appreciate because we're not from Europe, but for the individuals Sweden, right? Europe, Samsung sells Q90A, but it's an IPS panel. Make sure you get the Q92 and Q95A. So this underscores what we're all talking about here. We don't get the IPS Q90A at the larger sizes. It's all VA. That's why I love it so much. However, if you're getting Q90 as IPS, everything I just told you out the window. Get the VA. Whether or not it has the one connect box is irrelevant at this point. You need the VA panel because our reviews are not relevant to the IPS panel. It's just such a different technology. That's just so unfortunate, though, that they did that.
Yeah, it's really misleading.
It is. Now, let's go to the last point, or the point that we put off was that Eternal Melody was asking what our expectations for 2022. I think that's a great way to kind of close out the discussion. Do you have any expectations for 2022, or you're just hoping 2021 will end early? Like, what are you seeing next year needs to be addressed? How about that? What would you like to be addressed in 2022?
I'd like to see LG have a little more separation in their top OLED. That would be good. I think we think that maybe the G1 or then G2 might have a heat sink. Mm-hmm. Not sure. I mean, obviously nothing is confirmed.
Right.
But I mean, having that top OLED for gaming, I feel like the G1 and the C1 are just so different anyways. Like, I don't know. I think maybe it would be smart on their behalf to have the C1 have a heat sink as well, just because the C1 is a more, mainstream TV. It's in Costco. It's in, a lot of other places. I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming though.
No, I think maybe we'll see a new SKU from LG, like a new model number. You could probably see that one with the heatsink, because I don't see them putting the heatsink in the C1 successor, because it's just too expensive to put a heatsink in the C1 and then
I completely agree with you guys on that. I definitely see a heatsink coming. Now I don't know how it'll be priced or anything like that. It could be the G, it could be the C, it could be a whole new model, but yes, for sure, heatsink. But what about Dolby Vision for Samsung? Is it too early for Dolby Vision Samsung, you think?
I don't see it.
If they take my advice from the interview, they should. But I don't know.
It's the only advice we would give. That's the
you know.
only advice I could give them, because quality control, it is what it is, right? But Dolby Vision is easy. Just turn on the switch and you're done. It doesn't even have to be good. That's the crazy thing. It can be crappy Dolby Vision.
How do we
Someone
think the
just has
chips
to
are
eat
going to
some
be?
crow, man.
Oh yeah, I see it. There you go.
Someone in their top, someone in the upper brass would just have to put out that, okay, fine, we like Dolby Vision, just like they're going to do with OLEDs. Okay, fine, we like OLEDs.
Hey, thank you for the super chat, Samuel. FOMO, do you notice lag of the Q&A on subtitles? Takes a split second for them to get the bright white for me. When the scene is dark, they also darken. I have the subtitles often off when I'm doing my reviews because I want to capture it. But now that I think about it, I'll have to look at that. So you're saying that there is lag on those scenes with the subtitle, like the subtitle changes brightness, and then when the scene is dark, they also darken. I have to say this. Speak of subtitles, because I was comparing it with the TCL. The TCL 6 series has better subtitling, way better.
Yeah,
don't they do a great job of dimming the subtitles better than any TV I've ever had? And I'm not talking about the OLEDs. I'm talking LCD TVs. They do an amazing job of dimming the subtitles, and that reduces blooming.
Yeah,
I thought I was just so impressed, right? So A Q90A, it is very bright subtitles, but I didn't see it get that dim. So let me look at that, Sam,
Hmm.
and then hopefully I can get back to you.
Yeah, and there's a different algorithm for subtitles. It makes sure it is dimmer. You'll see that on logos too. On like white logos will be like so dim in comparison to other colors. So
Hammer got the old
The
mantle
mental
mount
mount.
up. It's not easy to
nice.
install. Once it's up, it's great. I'd have to
And,
say, like, it still hangs off the wall a little too far when it's up high for me. It kind of tips forward, but when you pull it down, I mean, there's nothing like it. There's no other option to put the TV low like that. So it is pretty dope.
and I'm going to do a shout out for Brandon, who will be installing my mantle mount for the 83-inch Sony.
One of these weeks here,
One of
let's
these
just look
we
at. I
Hey,
got
no
this.
rush.
I have the best background that you can buy. $8,000 background behind me. Look at that, and it turns blue right when I
I was
say
gonna
it.
say any time after the first week of November is good, but then we hit Thanksgiving, so
Yeah, well, we gotta. It's coming up there one way or the other. We got to
yeah,
get it out of here.
yeah,
I don't want
it's
to
great.
like damage it, man.
What do you guys think of this? I think we got this review. It's called the QN85A, and everybody hated it. Can we agree that the QN85A is kind of like the
Mm.
ADS version of the QN90A?
I
Right? You saw
I
it.
actually, well, yeah, I basically said like it's really bright. Off angle, it's not as good. I probably gave it a better review than I should have. In the QN90A, I gave a worse review than I should have. But I think it was because the QN90A was so aggressive on that dimming, kind of like he's talking about for the logos. Like it's very aggressive. Maybe he needs to do an update on the firmware or something. But man, I just felt like the QN85A didn't have that super aggressive dimming. So when I was watching it straight on, even in dark room, it wasn't so bad. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, basically ADS, these IPS panel things, no good. That's another thing I told Samsung and all those people, just stop with it. Not good.
This question pains me because we all were there when it was $3 a share. And I can guarantee you guys now, if I bought Bitcoin with $3 a share, none of us would be here.
Yeah. I mean,
we'd either be in jail or driving a Lamborghini somewhere to lunch, right?
so if you bought Bitcoin at $3 a share, you would have had to have like basically forgotten you had it until now and then been like, oh, now I'll sell it because there's been like a billion opportunities to sell
Yeah.
it, like at $6, at $10, at
Yep.
$1,000.
Yep.
Then it went up to like 20,000, then back down to 1,000. So it's been all over the place.
Oh,
Right.
wait. Can we stop and say TechMed Rainer Richter is actually giving a live chat to remind people, please like this stream. Come
I
on,
mean,
there's
that's dedication right
That's
there. I mean,
dedication. Thank you, my friend.
Phil 82 is dedicated. He wants my A90J to like it. And then Michelle was like, I'm not going to like it because I gave her a bad crypto coin to buy.
Shib. Yeah.
But hey, listen,
more Shib.
no, Shib is good. I mean, but Cody, it hasn't really worked out. But
Oh,
still, we all appreciate it. Thanks, Rainer. He's awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
nice.
And just a reminder, he's in Germany right now. It's like what, midnight,
Dude, it's got to be
and
close.
he's on his last legs before he collapses for the day. Thank you for being here. And I think, wait, hey KG, how was your midnight live stream last night? Did you know that
Oh, it was
we had
actually
a
not bad.
midnight
Yeah, I was
live stream?
surprised by like the turnout. I was like expecting 10 people. I did it so that overseas people could kind of catch me because they usually don't get a chance to watch me. And I thought maybe 10 people show up. I had like 55 people at one point at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "What? why? Why are there 55 people here?" So it's pretty
That's
cool.
good though.
Yeah.
At midnight, you got 55 people. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it
That's
was
more than
pretty
a lot
cool.
of people get during the day. So good job. And I need to respond to this because Cyber GT, I apologize. I missed his super chat yesterday, and so I owe him a
Mark.
comment. But yeah, if you had a question from yesterday, please put it up and we'll look for it. FOMO on price matrix, yeah, definitely different. UK Sony A84J is £14.99. Samsung Q90 is £13.99, and LG C1 is £12.99. Price is so close, 55. Would it change your order in the UK? Okay, so the A84J. So this is interesting. Did you guys know that the A84J is the A80J with special features that are unique to
I want to
Curry's?
know. I want to know what it has.
Yeah, come on, Cyber GT, share with us. What does it have? I think he mentioned it has a special. I have such bad memory. It was like a special feature that's unique to England. Like it has
Contrast
a special
booster or
remote or
something?
something like that.
Yeah.
And the Q90A, so the Q90A is the VA panel. I would choose, because it's the 55-inch size, I would take the LG C1 because of its flexibility and gaming features. Because the image quality is so close at this price point, the A84J/A80J does not get as bright as it could. If this was the 77-inch size, I would choose the Sony because the Sony would be brighter because it would have it more unleashed. We know it's an evil panel, but at the 55-inch size, they kind of brought it down, which makes the C1 indistinguishable from the A84, but then the C1 has more features. So, and the QN90A, unless I need anti-reflective, which it has amazing anti-reflective. If you're in a bright room with glare, then the QN90A. If you're in a darker room or moderate with no glare, then I'd go with the C1. But all three of them would be recommended. It would all be use case, so they would all be great prices.
I don't know if that A84J has that more of a matte screen than the shiny glossy screen. I wonder about that.
Maybe that's a special feature, right? Maybe they took that.
This is funny. Juan Garcia. Too bad Bitcoin is dead. I don't know. He's getting some heck for that.
When is it dying? It's not dying today.
I don't know, man. It just hit its all-time high. It's currently at the all-time high right now, and people still think it could like turn to like 150K in the next like 6 months. I think a lot of people are going to FOMO into it, and it's going to go over 100,000 by the end of the year. So I don't know what he means by dead. Like if you take $100 and put that into E-Trade in any stock, you're not going to be making the money you're making on Bitcoin right now. So I don't know.
Okay, so let's just take a second. We're not a crypto channel, but I'd love to address this. So at some point, I think Bitcoin will die. At some point. The question is when.
But why do you think it would die?
It could be next year, 5 years. What?
But why though?
Why? Okay, why? It's because I believe government or someone will come in with either, if they make it impossible to trade Bitcoin, then it goes back underground because the U.S. government has made, because right now it's legal, right? With Coinbase and with those tethers, Coinbase and tethers make it work. If the U.S. say no more tethers because all these tethering companies to make it tradable, you guys are all fraudsters. I'm just making this up, right? And they say Coinbase, you're not doing the right thing. We're not going to allow you to do this anymore. You do that, and then it's gone.
Well, yeah, of course, but they're not going to. They just made ETFs. They're making. New
I know. I agree.
All the top like 500 companies are investing in it. Like if you take down Bitcoin now, if you take down Bitcoin, you're taking down the U.S. economy.
You have a problem.
So they're tied in, and I don't know. It's like low to high, right? We'll get off this in a minute, but Bitcoin is like digital gold, though. It's not even very functional. It's just gold. It's valuable because it's getting rare and it's getting expensive. So the supply and demand has dictated it. It's not going anywhere.
Gold has no intrinsic value other than we give it value, but you can't do anything with gold other than it's a rare element, right?
I mean, you could wear it.
That's where you store value.
But no one wears it.
I wear it in my teeth. No, I'm just joking. Got gold
it's kind of like diamonds. Diamond is a perfect comparison. Diamond has no value, but you can wear it. And we give it value because of De Beers. You take away De Beers marketing, you cannot trade diamond. If you go on the secondary market, diamond has no value at all. It has to be bought new. True. Gold, doesn't matter how old it is, right? Gold is gold. It's fungible. NFT, it is the fungible token. Truly fungible. Diamond is an NFT, non-fungible, because it represents that wedding ring. But
you guys got to school me on NFTs, man.
Yeah, well,
I don't get NFTs.
If anybody likes this stuff, we have a new channel called the NFT Playbook. We're talking about some of this. Hey, first of all, we had one guest on and we already made them rich, basically. So,
I know. What is up with that?
We had them on, and all the NFTs went up 50% after our live stream. So
it went from 1.4 Ethereum up to 5?
Over 2. Oh, is it up to 5 now? No, it was a 2.1.
Is it 2.1? That's like double, man. That's crazy.
Let's get back to the TV. I'm sure.
Okay. Hey, Shamar. Here's a long-time listener, first-time caller, or multi-time caller. Hey, Shamar. Thanks for the super chat. I seen Sony Z9J and LG Z10, 77-inch, Best Buy, Knoxville, Tennessee. Phenomenal. I need a Sony 8K OLED in 2022. Also, he wants to combine the two, right? Yeah, the LG Z10 is pretty good, but at 30 grand, man, I can't justify that. I can't do it. I
heard they're trying to do a 92-inch TV.
Now, I do want to wrap up at the 90-minute mark. Are you guys okay? You guys want to go longer?
No, I'm good. We can go. That's fine.
We'll go keep on going. All right.
Get your question. No,
Yeah,
I'm good to leave.
get
I
your
got to get
question.
going too. So yeah,
Get your questions
let's
in.
do a
Let's
question or
do
two.
last call questions. And I know we've missed your questions because we were chatting like crazy. So throw it in there. We will catch it. I apologize because I'm glad I don't fly solo. I tell you, when I fly solo, dude, I don't know how many super chats I miss. I feel so bad, and I'm like, oh my god. So they come back, you missed
Dude,
my
I
super
mean,
chat.
we're pretty good. I have to say, like our people out here are fantastic. I love chatting with everybody. I've been in some other chats and watching, like I said, cryptos and other things where people don't even answer they don't even answer the super
Nope.
chats. They just fly right by. Maybe they'll take a 5-minute break and go back and hit them up real quick. But I think that we do. I feel like we provide some value. So I hope people appreciate that because we're trying. We're trying.
Yeah.
Here's a great question for you guys. If you had $1,300, right, would you get an open box LG B10 in a quote unquote excellent condition, but it's missing a remote and a stand? How's that in excellent condition? But let's put that aside.
No.
You can buy a
Would you pick it
remote.
up
You
for
can throw it on the
1,300?
wall. I mean, I
Throw
don't
it
even
on the
think that's a
wall.
great deal. Is that even a great deal? It's like a few $100s off.
65 inches,
I think
1,300
it's
currently.
Used to be like, I thought it was like $1,500-$1,600 max for that TV. But now we're talking about there's a B1 too, right?
Yeah.
What is the C1 right now? Like $1,700?
1,800.
1,800.
I don't know. That's a lot of money extra, I know, but man, to get a brand new TV and have no issues, I would probably just take a TV that's
and get the
new.
warranty that you could swap it when it's
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, someone had this question. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to get the next one.
Okay, yeah. Quick super chat. Thanks, Henry. Hello. Will Sony's new update make the 80J gaming look brighter? Thank you. No. For an OLED, if it makes it look brighter, it's because they're willing to trade off some lifetime, something. The reason why OLEDs are not bright is how conservative they are. They don't want burn-in. They could look brighter, but then it then leads to image retention. So Sony is especially cautious about making their OLEDs look brighter. So I would say it's unlikely, and that's what the A90J is for, by the way. If you need brighter, A90J heatsink, done. 80J doesn't have a heatsink. Now, the 77-inch is a touch brighter from the get-go, but Sony is not known for making things brighter, and all the OLED companies tend to make it dimmer to make sure there's no burn-in. So, okay.
And this goes to this one here, talking about, I appreciate it, Adi. About the HT-A9 and the Sony A80J, is the center channel better? I'm going to have a very comprehensive review, and I know FOMO already has a review, and he's going to have more. We all have different perspectives, so I think it'll be great to have all of our perspectives.
Absolutely.
But I can't say for certain. Okay, I have the 83-inch A90J, and I'm still not sure that I like that with this system. I'm not sure that this is better than a Sonos Arc. I know Ian Fitzgerald had asked before. I mean, it's $2,500 for the system. It's a lot of money.
With a subwoofer. And we both agree you need the subwoofer.
You have to have the subwoofer. There's no chance I could buy this without the subwoofer. So that's one thing. So if you can't do the 2,500, then you could start with like the Sonos Arc at $800 and go from there, because you can't buy this piece under 1,800. So I'm going to have a lot of info about this. I can't get into all of it right now, but I would definitely say with the A90J as a center channel, it's pretty good. It's definitely more like, it gives you a better 3D feel than the Sonos Arc does, because it doesn't have a lot of vertical space. And you'd have to have, like, for it to compete, I think the Sonos Arc would have to have a sub and the two Sonos 5s. So you'd be in the same ballpark at like $2,500 to get it anywhere close. So I think it's fairly similar, but I think the Sony might have a little better 3D sound, Yeah.
And I have a question for Brandon. How is the bass on its own, like
the
compared to the Sonos Arc?
Oh no,
like without
they're both
subs?
crap.
Let's say
they're both. I mean, you'd have to have a smaller room for either one of them. I've had the Sonos Arc in a really small room, and then I've had it in a larger room. I would say that the Sonos Arc is not very good bass. I'd be like, maybe it's okay. I think the Sony, it doesn't seem to crack or anything. Like, it can get pretty. I mean, it's like, for those 4 speakers, they're pretty solid. But then when you add the sub in either instance, they're both amazing. So then it's, for me, I'm just like, I can't even really compare, like, that minimal bass to each other. But I think the Sony sub is pretty good. What were you going to say, FOMO?
I was going to say, for me, the biggest selling point is not having a center soundbar. Appearances, right?
It's pretty cool, yeah.
A lot of people just cannot, you're going to have to get a credenza, or you mount it on the wall, or it doesn't even look good. To me, it's a necessary evil to have something in the center, and having a phantom channel that's solid, I think, is the genius of this system. Now, whether it gets loud enough, all that
That's
stuff
the thing.
is
Yeah.
perfect for you because you have a
Yeah.
huge room. I can't
But I
even
don't
agree with that.
know.
I have what I
That's the
have.
thing though. I know, but I mean, like, I feel like I understand what you're saying there, but then when the Phantom Center's on, I feel like I'm like trying to struggle to turn the volume up, and then all this others, the side speakers are just like the noises are blasting at me, and I'm like, I think I have to have the TV. I think for me to really probably recommend this, I think I would almost have to say it's got to be for one of the OLEDs from Sony, because I almost need that center coming out at me. But it's still, again, I'm not fully done because I just got the sub. And so now I'm adding the sub and I'm like, oh my God, that's way different now, you know? So yeah, we'll have to see. I hopefully next Saturday I'll have that out because I have my installation video on the power bridge and how to hide your wires for dummies, that because we're all kind of dummies, you know? So I'm going to show you guys how to not get electrocuted while hiding your wires.
I would rather hire someone like you. I would never do electric. So no matter how easy it is, just not worth it because I'm, you know, my greatest.
Well, the power bridge makes it the easiest. I mean, really, it's like drywall, throw it down the wall, connect it to a power outlet. That's not too bad. So I got a good video. It's going to be about a 25-minute video. So
okay, guys, and I think we all know the answer to this, but I think it bears repeating. QN90A 85-inch or QN800A 75-inch, both 3300. So remember, the only reason people are even talking about the QN800A is because, quote unquote, it's 8K and it's expensive. Take away the price and the fact that it's 8K. The QN90A is a better TV, period, and it's larger. So now you get two wonderful things with the QN90A. I would go with the QN90A mostly because it's 85 inches, and any visual differences you're not going to notice. And the Q90A does get very bright. All the qualities of the Q800A is in the Q90A, and now you have an extra 10 inches. Forget 8K; it does nothing for the 75-inch.
The QN800A is not. There's really no use for it because it's like, get the QN900A if you're going to get it, you know. And now that the price is coming down on the QN900A, it's like, okay. Yeah. Also, I have a real quick thing about that other A9 system. I'm not a big fan that you plug that thing in with like the 3.5 millimeter jack for the center channel,
weird,
you know?
Right? Yeah,
so you got really like weird. eARC, you got like high quality sound, and then it's like you're connecting it with the 3.5 millimeter to the center channel, and the sound changes on everything. The sound level, it's like Disney Plus is really loud, then Netflix is really quiet, and it's like I have to adjust from like 90 down to like 30.
So here's this is exactly what you're saying. If Sony was thinking wireless, they could have easily wirelessed the TV into the system. They could have, and I bet you they'll do that next year. But it's as if the TV makers did one thing, and then the brilliant scientists on the audio side did something else. Like, oh wait, we're all on Wi-Fi. How hard is it to add that Wi-Fi chip to the TV? It shouldn't be.
And what about this too? You got 4 speakers that are wireless and can be hidden, right? What do you do with that stupid box? Like, now I got to put that box somewhere. Like I'm just gonna stick it with some duct tape to the back of my OLED, but I mean, like that doesn't look real clean, you know.
It's not coincidence that it looks like an Apple TV.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Except it's like 4 times the size.
And I think this deserves my attention because I apologize. The U7G 75-inch is an IPS panel, and I keep on forgetting that. And I know many people reminded me, I cannot recommend it at the 75-inch size. I need to correct all of my suggestions because the U7G smaller are all VA panels. At the 75-inch, it's IPS, and as you know, I do not like IPS. It's just terrible all around. So there is no love from me because it's an IPS.
Check the user reviews on that TV. It's crazy.
It's not good. And IPS in general, it is what it is, you know. Sorry, guys.
I'm getting a lot of questions about the HT-A9, so that's good. I mean,
hit him.
But Shamar asked if the voice button, I don't know about the voice button help with the dialogue. All I know is that if you have a Sony OLED, you get like 50 extra options to like, it's cool. You have all these on-screen options to change everything right on the screen, which is really cool because it's all interactive with the Sony OLED. So you get like, you can change the rear volume, you can change the bass, all of it's on screen. Where it's probably not, you know, it's not with other TV brands. So I know you have the TCL hooked up, right, FOMO? So you're talking about using that. So you have to run it all through. You got to go to HDMI 3 or whatever, connect it, and then you have to look at what you want to change. Or press it on the remote. But if you have a Sony OLED or any Sony TV, I suppose, you can actually change it all on screen while you're watching what you're watching. So you can like do live changes. It's pretty cool.
Oh, you know what? I have not done that. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because you know at the bottom menu when you see like the Bluetooth capabilities,
right.
and
it has
like your picture settings, so it has like 20 more options, like volume, voice. And I actually found that like the music setting sounded better than the cinema setting, because it was just like the cinema setting seemed to like try to separate things a little too much, and
it was too weird.
I was like, yeah. So if you have it on music, I actually like that. So again, I'm gonna try to narrow my thoughts because I have like a million thoughts on this, but we'll
Well, here's a couple of comments I want to hit real quick. And this one, yeah, it's all. Did you appreciate the simplicity though? It was plug and play, right?
I like that, except for I don't like the 3.5 millimeter cord. I know Apple would never do something like that. Right. And then it kind of everything, the products in general, they kind of seem a little cheap feeling. Do you get that? Like the speaker kind of feels a little light, and then it kind of the color is not real good. And then like the subwoofer, like the subwoofer pounds, but it's got like that, it's got the cloth over it. Why do they put cloth over these?
They
speakers?
don't need to.
I mean, it's going to be so dirty in like a year, it's going to be
Dude,
awful.
It was already dirty on my carpet because you know how carpet has whatever, and then the stuff sticks to it. I have to use tape to
you lay it down and then you stand it back up and it's all dirty.
Yeah.
And then like that, the central unit is really light. It's like, it's way lighter than my Apple TV. So I was like, everything just, I feel like Sony is not a top audio system company, right? They're not the top, but the product delivers. It could be better, but it's pretty good. And to be honest, the sub is. I'm fairly impressed with the sub because Sony's never had a sub like this that's pounded. I mean, it's really
it's a good match. Yeah,
yeah.
I think what Brian here, his suggestion is spot on in that it's simple setup and it's the best home theater overall experience for its simplicity, plug and play. And the Arc comes close, but this one I really love that you have just put it in and you have the surround and you're done. You don't have to do anything to calibrate the surround at all. And I just want to put this up. You guys know that I have 250 million net worth? Wow. That's like Google is ready to send burglars and criminals my way. Thank you.
Hilarious.
Thank you, Google.
We got to answer. This is a very important thing too here. How is Brandon getting 150 points each week? Do I have a cheat code? No. I have a good team, man. But listen, Mark's right on my tail.
You have a good team, man.
Mark's like a few points behind me with the same record. So I'm like,
my wide receivers are all injured. Every one of them. I'm like,
my entire team is injured.
Horrible.
Yeah. I've been dealing with some issues on my team for sure.
And let's answer this. Stefan Gammon. I'm set in TCL 6 series. Don't know which I should pick, 435 or 446. You mean 646 or 635? We know what you mean. So in my review, if you watch it, I definitely prefer the 646 because of its overall performance. But if you love Roku, you can always plug a Roku stick into the 646 and still get Roku. Use case movies, casual gaming, Series X. It's 646 is so good. I think the 635, if you really want Roku and you don't want to buy a separate plug-in for the 646, but I can't justify getting the 635 at all because I can make the 646 look like the 635. I can't go the other way around. So hopefully that answers your question.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
You said casual game. I mean, the 635 is not HDMI 2.1, so you're gonna constantly have the FOMO that you're like, okay, I have an X Series X and my TV is almost there, but it doesn't have 2.1. Right. Just get the new one, dude. Just get the new one.
It doesn't say 4K 120.
You'll absolutely regret not getting the 4K at 120.
Hey, look, someone hates Sonos. This is one of the few. So thanks for the super chat complaint, Adi. I've soured on Sonos since my Sonos One keeps on disconnecting from the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you got to have good Wi-Fi. You have to have a good Wi-Fi system. You have to have.
Let me ask you. I didn't know that. Wi-Fi. So I don't have Sonos. Is it connect on the house Wi-Fi, not on its own internal?
Well, it has its own. I mean, like the Sonos Arc and system will connect to the Arc and then connect to the internet. But each piece has to be connected to the internet, and then it kind of uses the Arc as a brain. So you have to. You can't put the Arc in a room that has poor Wi-Fi signal. It won't work. Yeah. You have to have. You have to have a mesh network if you're in a larger house. So make sure that you have a good mesh system if you want to get products like this, because you need internet speed.
You have to have a good mesh network that does like auto switching the
Agreed.
frequencies. Like if it goes
Agreed.
2.4, to 5 whenever it
And
needs
And
to.
Sonos products are typically 2.4, so they don't
Yeah,
really do 5 either. So you gotta,
right.
yeah, it's gotta be able to figure all that out.
well, speaking of someone worth 280 million, Ninjishin here apparently has a $20,000 4.2 system.
Wow.
Brandon,
Yeah.
would you like to destroy his system with your
No,
HT-A9?
none
Let's
of
see
my
how
crap's
good
gonna
it
destroy it.
gets.
Listen, I have this in my house because of ease of use. Okay, first of all, it's
Hmm.
compatible with my TV. I
That's
definitely
right.
want to get some front. I want to get some big speakers. I was looking at focal speakers, things like that. But then I got to put a receiver in. I got to get an entertainment stand to put it all in. If I want rears, I have to wire them. I have 20-foot vaulted ceilings, and I'm just like we'll there's a time and a place for everything. I think you guys should check out your guys's or on Keep It Classy Tech. They're going to be doing this. They're going to be talking about the systems versus each other. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean it's not just about the quality. It's about like all the kinds of different things for people. What do you rent? You buy? Do you have carpet? Can you put it in the attic? Can you all? There's so many things to think about. And I've been talking about that for a while. I'm sure they'll talk about that stuff tomorrow.
Oh, we will. And we're going to have a hopefully another live stream this Saturday because the focus this Saturday for you gamers is gaming TVs and the screwy things that's basically Sony is not a gaming company. Get a Sony because you love watching movies and streaming. And if you happen to game, great. But don't blame us if you get a Sony and the gaming experience sucks. Okay, let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that we've had the first generation VR, and I know Sony's promising fixes, but come on. I mean, if you're holding your breath this long, just let your breath out and go get yourself an LG and cut
Man,
your losses.
how
But
sad is that though? Like Sony makes PlayStation 5 and come on, like
Yeah, but
why do
they just
TVs?
don't make all their own equipment. That's the
Right, I
problem.
know,
They
but
don't
like they
the
have to
guys
have
at
that
Sony,
synergy though. They have
but
to
the
have that
people in
synergy.
Sony don't have control over their products. So they're like trying to put
Yeah.
software on products that can't have, it's just I think they need to just get more vertically integrated, it seems.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, can we talk about vertical integration? I was going to mention this on one of my later videos, but Sony has partnered with TSMC to build a
Saw that.
chip foundry in Japan. You know what that means? That means they will now have direct control over the production of their own chips. Now, what chips they're making with that, who knows? But
Mhm.
if the chips is involved in their TVs, maybe they'll be back in the chip game, maybe, and maybe they could avoid using MediaTek. All big maybes, but Samsung has their own chip factory. That's why they make their own chips very easily. I don't know if LG does, but for sure LG designs their own chips. But
Well,
at least this gives Sony a direct in to chip manufacturing with TSMC, the top chip manufacturer in the world in both technology and everything, you name it, right? They do
Mhm.
it for everybody. So I'm kind of excited that Sony is a partner with TSMC in Japan. So maybe in
yeah.
5 years we'll see a better chip. 5 years, because it's a $7 billion project, and how long does that take to build? Right, another 2 years. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready to wrap up?
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. What
All right, guys. If we missed your super chat, deep apologies. We'll get to you. Don't submit any questions. We're going to wrap up right now. So, what's in store for us? For me, next week is the AV Summit. And if I'm going to put information in my video or whatever. So we have great sponsors, and we are going to have a mixer, and we're going to invite all the influencers like KG and
mixer?
Brad and all that stuff. We'll have fun at the mixer, and so you guys are all invited. I can post it on mine, and they're going to post it on theirs and stuff. So you guys can come if you're available, just to mix with us, and the brands will be there, and we're going to have giveaways. And oh, I forgot to mention, you guys are here. Value Electronics is giving away a 55-inch OLED A80J, fully
What?
calibrated, fully QC'd.
Nice.
He just told me, so I haven't even prepped the announcement yet, but I'm giving it to you guys now. So once we announce it, if you guys sign up and attend, you have a shot at winning Value Electronics A80J, calibrated by D Nice himself, and it's fully QC'd, 55-inch size. It's in there. It's part of
Aren't
the list of things. In addition to
aren't
the
Robert?
Hisense trichroma laser TV is also a giveaway. I mean,
Wow.
Nice.
insane stuff being given away, guys. So,
Robert and Wendy are just so nice, aren't they? They're the
oh,
best.
I know they are. guys, remember they're a mom and pop shop, and so if they're a little slow to respond, this is not Best Buy with chat, but they do their best to deliver what they promise you. But I think they're pretty
They
great.
they just happen to be the mom and pop shop in the area with the richest people in the world. But yeah,
Just
I mean,
you know what I told them
upstate New York, billionaires.
I before the HT-A9 was even released, right? The minute it was launched, I said, Robert, based on these specs, I can tell you right now, you need to load up on this audio equipment because I can tell, even without me loving it, this is a game changer what they're doing just by removing that sound bar and doing this. Assuming it does what it says, which I think it does to a limited degree, that's good enough.
That's good.
And
That's
yeah,
good.
he's already sold out, right? He sold all his allocations through November. Now he's waiting for his November allocation. So, and he's offering a $200 discount. No one else is even offering that. If you get it with the SW5, and we all agree, you should get it with a subwoofer. So, yep. So that's my thing is next week, I'm getting out videos this week, and next week I'll be on the AV Summit. So how about you guys? What do you guys have in store for the next week or so?
Go ahead, KG. What you got?
Okay. Yeah. So I got quite a big schedule actually this week. So tomorrow I'm going to be on with Classy on his channel. We're going to be talking about soundbars and AV receivers, things like that. It's going to be all about sound. That's going to be at 3:30 Pacific time. We're going to have other guests as well. I think Ninjishin's going to join us. And then on Thursday, that is Thursday. On Friday, I'm gonna have my usual live stream at 4 p.m. Pacific time. That'll just be like a Q&A stream. So come by, ask your questions if you want your questions answered. And then on Saturday is gonna be a live stream after past the remote. It's gonna be the after party.
Oh, that's
so to
right.
speak, the 10K celebration.
Congrats.
Where we're just gonna do an off-topic stream. Classy's gonna be there. You guys are welcome to join as well. Hopefully, you can pop in just for a few minutes, if at least, yeah, it'll be really cool. Last time we did an off-topic stream, it was a lot of fun. So stop by if you guys want to have a blast. So
yeah, I'm sure we will. Cool, man. Yeah, right. I'm working on right now wrapping up this how to hide your wires. I did a video where I hide the wires into the electrical outlet, but a lot of people said, that's too difficult for them and they'd like to see one where they don't have to mess with the electrical. So I've done that. It actually was the first video that I got done with my Sennheiser microphone and also with my new recording device. So it sounds pretty good. The audio is solid. No mess ups, no loss. So I have actually the Zoom H6 with the lavalier mics, piece of cake, man. It's not that hard. So I just hit record and it sounds good, matched all the audio. So that's good. And then I'm going to have this, I'm itching to get the A9 video out for this speaker. I will compare it to the Sonos Arc. I'll probably put my head together with KG and talk about the Bose 900 for that too. If you would not mind maybe sharing your experience, because I'd like to know where this ranks with the Bose and the Sonos and maybe make a video for all three. So,
yeah. A note on that. I actually have the Bose 900 versus Sonos Arc video coming up pretty soon too as well. But I'll definitely put my input on that.
Awesome. Cool, guys. Right. Yeah. And that's basically it. And then I'm going to have a Black Friday and like kind of where to rank these TVs, kind of like FOMO has, just giving my people same thing. Like how,
and these things always change. So by the time you do yours, mine literally will be irrelevant because.
And I have, no, it's not irrelevant, but I mean, it's just two different opinions.
Yeah. And, but the prices will be gone, right?
Yeah, maybe,
right. Completely different.
And then I also have the 4 OLED because I never really finished my whole like all 4 OLED video. So I'm going to do that as well. So it'll be
cool.
Good. At this point, I think most people have a good idea of which OLED they want, but we'll throw it out there anyways.
I am early on the triple laser short throw bandwagon. It's not quite there yet, but I think next year is the year of the short throw, the next generation. So we're on the first generation of the triple laser. I think the next generation is going to impress some people, and at under 5,000, which I think is where the price is going to be. Man, it's going to be hard once it starts dropping to 3,000. I don't know.
So, that's actually a really good point you make. I'm actually thinking about instead of having a TV in here, since I already have the 48-inch C1, like I could just play games on that. But like when I watch movies, maybe I'm thinking about doing like an ultra short throw setup, because I think that would be kind of cool. I have enough room to do
year,
it. So.
Everything this year is 5,000 MSRP, dude. Next year 3,000, And then the year after that, I mean, you see how it goes, right? It's
Yeah. Do you think you need the triple laser though? You don't think some of the other ones like the
color,
Samsung Premiere?
You need that
seems
for
pretty good.
HDR.
Okay.
The ones that are only double laser, it's not as good. You see
Gotcha.
it, it's not as bright. LG has a double laser. Samsung and Hisense has a triple laser. Same laser, same company, same source, significantly better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the future is triple, and it's affordable. I mean, this is first generation's 5,000, but where we're going to be in 2 years. So those of you who are ready to upgrade to a large TV, I say, maybe hold off and wait for the triple laser and keep on hanging on to your 75-inch, because once you have 120 inches, you can't go back. Look at Michelle Alexandra, right? She just got, boom, 130 inches. It does make a difference.
Did we hit this one up? I wasn't sure.
The reality creation settings. Let's talk about it. All right,
so A80J real quick. Yeah, reality creation settings. Turn it up sometimes. It just adds so much detail.
Oh yeah.
I definitely.
You're in class. You loved it, right? You guys called it.
It's crazy. I love it. Like the video I did on it's doing really well, and I think people are starting to realize that this is a really good feature. And I think it's gotten better with the XR chip too. And D Nice was speaking about reality creation as well, and he loves it. So.
And it might be better to use that than some of the black level or the advanced contrast, because if you start messing with those things, it can kind of degrade the picture a little bit,
Yeah, I like those as well. Actually, sometimes.
Well, I mean, they give it some punch, and there's no. I mean, but if you use it on lower resolution content, then it starts to really degrade the picture. Where then you got to like start messing with the noise and all that. But no, I'll have to check that out too. I don't mess with it too much. But I got to get going. Sometimes. So you guys want to end it out?
All gonna run. You're all gonna run. Right. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. Make sure to hit us up if you have a question that we didn't get. Right when the video ends, put it in the comments down below, and we'll answer it. Because it helps to have some comments after the fact. Make sure to like it, and we'll check it next time. See you guys next time.
All around, everyone.
See you guys.
Peace. Until next time, pass the remote.